LuxAir Jets is excited to announce the new, most convenient way to fly nonstop from Lexington to historic Saratoga Springs throughout the racing meet. We are now offering exclusive group packages on our luxurious private jets. Each package offers a once-in-a-lifetime experience that you can share with your friends, family, or business partners. Call for pricing and availability.
Little drier conditions today for the Saratoga Report, brought to you by LuxAir Jets. Yesterday, we looked at Saturday's terrific card from the perspective of the man that's going to cover most of those races and has been covering most of those races all week, David Grenning. Today, we're going to look at it from the expert handicapper's view, and that's my colleague Mike Watchmaker. Mike, 4 stakes tomorrow. I know you're a fan of bigger fields, so as far as the field size goes, maybe not so great, but quality-wise, 4 terrific races, and we'll start with the Amsterdam, the 3-year-old sprinting, and just how do you look at the race?
Well, Cold Front's absolutely the horse to beat. He was very impressive, making it 2 for 2 in his career with his allowance win at Belmont, and certainly that race was validated when the runner-up of that race, Pattern Recognition, came back to actually run a better buyer figure, finishing second to Takafel last weekend here, and on a day that Takafel just ran a hole in the wind. He's the horse to beat, but I have to go with Mo Cash in here because I thought he ran lights out in the carry back last time out, and I know that the Gulfstream announcer, was probably a buddy of yours, Mike, said that he was just strolling in the park on the front end, but the fact of the matter is the pace he set down was very strong when you compare it to the fractions in the Princess Rooney and the Smile Sprint that came in the next 2 races, and he set that pace comfortably. I think he goes right to the front, and I think he'd take this field wire to wire.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Hopefully Speed will be playing at least fairly tomorrow. What's your thoughts on that? Let's look into the first week or 10 days of the meet as far as how the track has been playing, because I know you watch that real close.
I do, and there were a couple of days, I thought specifically last Saturday, where it looked like it was tilted towards the inside, and it looked like Speed was pretty good. And as a matter of fact, today we're recording this on Friday. Early in the card, I thought Speed was holding up pretty well.
Okay, hopefully we'll just have a fair track. That's all you can ask for in days like this. The big sprint, the big race on the card, actually the only grade 1 is the Vanderbilt. We lost Whitmore. No mind your biscuits, although I will say that he did work this morning, sort of work this morning. I wrote, he's so fast that even when he opened gallops, he gets a recorded work. He was out there today, was supposed to work this morning. The track quite not to trainer Chad Summers' satisfaction, drying out after the rains yesterday. So we just opened galloped him, and I still had him at the last half mile in 50-1. And his objective down the road could be the Forego, but it could also be the is the Bing Crosby, or is that tomorrow?
That's tomorrow.
That's the other race at Del Mar later in the movie.
Bryan.
That Battle Bryan. Yeah, it's one of those two. He said it's just a matter of whether he wants to get a race in over the Del Mar track before the Breeders' Cup or keep him closer to home. So we'll wait that decision. But no mind your biscuits, no Whitmore, but a pretty good field nonetheless.
Yes, it is a good field. An AP Indian won the Vanderbilt last year, and then he followed with a victory in the Forego, completing a sweep of the 2 big sprint stakes for older males at this Saratoga meet. I just don't think his form this year has been as good. He ran okay finishing second in his first 2 starts this year, but he had no excuse losing those races, and I really didn't care for the Maryland Sprint, a race that he was a beat and a half length in last time out, because the winner of that race, Whitmore, and the 3rd place finisher, Awesome Banner, came back and lost in their next starts, but also notably tailed off buyer-wise. So I'm a little bit concerned about AP Indian's current sharpness.
Plus, he also missed a race, too, so he missed a little time and a race, so that's got to be taken into consideration.
Right. I just don't think he's quite as sharp. I mean, this year, off of at least what he's shown publicly. I think Limousine Liberal's the horse here. I mean, we've seen Churchill horses, I think, run very, very well all meet here, and there's been some scuttlebutt about how the track is different here this year, and there's a lot of scuttlebutt that, it's very similar to Churchill Downs. And from what I see, with the way Churchill horses are running here, there might be some truth to that. And Limousine Liberal comes into this race off 3 straight stakes wins in Churchill. And, I mean, this is a horse who last year, when they finally put blinkers on him, ran AP Indian to a nose in the Phoenix Stakes. And he's really improved, and he's become a much more effective horse once he's learned how to stalk.
It'll be interesting to see. I actually talked to Al Stoll about that theory. One of the Kentucky trainers off to a good start. He's won 2 races already. Tom's the Tat, a huge race yesterday, could set him up for a shot at the Woodward later in the meet. And I asked him that. I said, do you think the Kentucky horses are doing better because of the difference in the racetracks? And he said partly that and partly you just got to bring the right horses. And maybe these guys are just bringing better horses this year. That could be as simple as that.
It's funny. I saw Al Stoll last night, and he agreed with me. Yeah, the track's like Churchill.
They put more clay in it. That's kind of part of this thing, and it has been slower. So, and I think if that's going to change, though, as that clay gets to work its way in a little bit more and they get a little more moisture in it, that might change the second half of the meet. So we'll see how the Kentucky guys do then. But so far, a lot of them are off to a big start. The Bowling Green on the grass, Ascend. The one thing I know about this race for sure is Ascend won't be 27-1. Other than that, what do you think?
Well, he did win the Manhattan, and Sadler's Joy finished third in the Manhattan. I really think they are the horses in this race. I know I don't want bigger picture. He got an ideal setup when he won the UN last time out with an insane speed duel between Beach Patrol and It's in the Post, and he's not going to get that kind of setup this time around. Yeah, I know we missed 27-1 on Ascend last time in the Manhattan, but he looks like a very likely winner of this race to me. I mean, he ran legitimately well in the Manhattan. He might have been 27-1, but he showed positional speed to stay close, and he also finished strongly. He shaded 22 seconds to go his last quarter, and I prefer him over Sadler's Joy because he's got more positional speed.
So you don't go by the miss the wedding, don't go to the funeral theory?
Well, generally I do, but if you're talking about who I think is going to win this race, I think it's Ascend.
I agree with you, too. Time test who Ascend beat last time would probably be 4-5 if he was in here, and probably that's who we'd all be picking if he did come back in this one. Let's go to the main event, the Jim Dandy now. Only 5 starters, and probably a lot of people are calling it a match race between the Derby winner and the Preakness winner. I know you're the kind of guy, you're out here to bet, not to, you want to see good horses, but you're out here to bet. This is not a real bettable race, but between the top 2, who are you leaning to?
I lean towards Always Dreaming. Cloud Computing is a very, very nice horse, but he got a tremendous setup when he won the Preakness, and I just don't think he's going to get that kind of setup this time. And I think Always Dreaming is going to pull a perfect trip. I think Pavel, this is a very ambitious spot to run against the Kentucky Derby winner and Always Dreaming and the Preakness winner, Cloud Computing, after just winning a maiden sprint in your career debut. But that's what he's doing, but he's quick, and I think Always Dreaming is going to draw the perfect trip, just stalking him and moving at will.
Okay, this is the Saratoga report, but while I got you here, I got to ask Sunday to Haskell, who are you picking?
Well, my biggest position in the race is I'm completely against Practical Joke. I will maintain until he shows me otherwise that he is not a 2-turn horse. I think he's absolutely a 1-turn horse, and he's stretching out to 2 turns, so I'll bet against him. I mean, I took Irish Warcry in the Derby. I took him in the Belmont. How could I not take him in this race? But I do think Battle of Midway is interesting because I thought his third in the Derby was really quite good, being close to that strong pace, and he came back with a really nice prep, and he's shipping here. Hollendorf was bringing him over, and I think he's going to run a big one.
My colleague Mike Watchmaker, a man who speaks his mind right or wrong when it comes to handicapping races here, there, and everywhere. And here is the Saratoga report, and we're getting closer to the big day tomorrow, the Jim Dandy, and as the meet progresses, we are going to be here every day through the next 30 or whatever's left here at the Saratoga 2017, right here on DRF.com.